When President Obama took charge about 8 years ago, he was entering the Oval Office on a wave of hope. It was part of his campaign slogan, and there were those cool posters that just said hope on them with his face on. Do you remember those? He was literally the face of hope. Hope for change, that business as usual could transform. Hope that our first African American president would do things differently and live by the integrity and promises he'd made. Hope that our governmental system, corrupt, broken, and divided in so many ways, would see seismic shifts. Hope that he would be our savior from economic collapse, useless wars, racism, poverty, ineffective government, and so much more. Barack Obama carried the fervent hopes, not just of the 70 million people who voted for him, but of an entire nation and world. And yet, as he got into office and began navigating the system, many people experienced their hopes beginning to fade. Slowly, there was a feeling that he wasn't living up to the high expectations people had of him. He wasn't doing everything they'd hoped. The memory of how dire things were just prior to his election began to dissipate like a dream the morning after. We forgot. But President Obama wasn't acting alone. The beauty and the complexity of our political system is that the president has to work in collaboration with Congress. The commander-in-chief has to deal with corporate power in politics and has to adapt and navigate through a system in which he has relatively little influence, should he not be able to build coalitions through compromise. And when bitter partisanship occurs, it's pretty hard to hold on to the vision of what one dreams of doing. There is the competing reality of what we want to do, what others expect us to do, and what leaders can actually do. There were over 200 million people of voting age in this country who all had their own expectations for what he should and could get done. Barack Obama faced a hope so large that it would probably have been impossible promise to fulfill. Hope is a complex standard. So, here we are at the beginning of our ministry together. You, no doubt, filled with hopes and expectations about what this new ministry might accomplish. Me? My hope is that I can serve this community fulfilling those hopes and expectations. The promise and excitement we're feeling about this new relationship is palpable. Not that this is in any way like a new US presidency, but rather that the platform and posters of hope are hanging in the balance and on the walls, whether we see them or not. After all, you've waited 1.5 years for your next settled minister after Reverend Laura left unexpectedly. You've patiently waded through surveys and cottage conversations, committees, soul-searching and waiting. And then finally, candidating week. Since then, you've probably wondered what this new relationship will be like. What kind of ministry will we co-create? How will your beloved fellowship transform and grow? And just like me, you have ideas and vision. You have hope. I have hope. There is good reason for hope. And with today's Ingathering, we're officially ready to embark on these visions and hopes. I'm genuinely excited to start this adventure with you. My new friends, you should feel really proud of yourselves. The Conejo Valley UU Fellowship has existed for over 50 years now. You built it from the ground up. You have co-created an amazing, flourishing community. Some of you have been here from the early years and witnessed its evolution from a small group of people who wanted a liberal religious community for their children to almost 200 active members. You've seen ups, you've seen downs. You've seen people come and go. You get that it takes work. You get that it takes commitment. You get that it takes passion and caring to grow and maintain a community such as this. You get that intention and dedication to this fellowship allow it to thrive. You get that a common vision and a compelling mission means there is little you cannot do together. And you get that collaboration, communication, and forgiveness are essential ingredients in creating enduring relationships and a strong community. My new friends, you understand that you have much to be proud of here. I don't have to hope that you get what it takes to thrive. I can already see that you understand what community can be like at its best. So as we begin this new day together, I want to envision what makes a great partnership between minister and congregation. You bring your experience with this community, and I bring mine in ministry and life. How can we best weave those together to help us succeed in fulfilling our hopes and creating a radiant future for CVUUF? For my part, I will bring my experience, my enthusiasm, and my listening. I will bring my ideas, my vision, my German work ethic, and my commitment. I will speak honestly and directly with you. And I may challenge you at times. But I will do so with compassion and integrity. And above all, I will love you. Above all, I vow to remind us of the sacred gift that is this life. I promise I'll do my very best every day, because that's who I am. I undertake my life's work wholeheartedly, earnestly, giving my best. And for us to have a dynamic, collaborative, trusting relationship, I invite you to do the same. I invite you to bring your open-minded, large-hearted, most thoughtful selves to collaborate for the highest good of this congregation and the wider world. I invite you to speak directly with kindness to me and one another. I invite us to say yes whenever possible, so we can create a culture of possibility and opportunity. My family recently saw the movie Don't Think Twice. It's a film about an improvisational troupe of actors doing a regular stage show in New York. In the film, they discuss 3 rules of improv. The first rule, say yes. No matter what the audience or improv members throw at you, just go with it. The second rule, it's not about you. It's about the group. The group will create something greater than the sum of its parts. And the third rule, don't think. Don't let your head hold you back. Don't try to figure it all out ahead of time. Improv is about instinct and heart. I think all three of these things might apply to us and where we're heading. Hey, Arlene.
Yes.
Did I hear you painted your living room pink and green stripes?
Yes, I did. And I put the carpet in orange because I found out my colors, I'm an autumn.
Oh, great, thank you. So I encourage you to find that yes, and look for how things can be done, even when it might be easier to say no. Bring your discernment, of course, but some amazing things can happen in a healthy, loving community like this when we default to yes. Laughter is only one of the delicious side effects. Now, the second rule is rather obvious, right? The group will create something greater than the sum of its parts. Individual needs necessarily give way to the whole group's well-being. We're a group of individuals, of course, but we can do things as a group of 200 individuals on their own that they couldn't. It's not about you or about me. It's about us. It's about the group and our larger purpose. And the third rule? My experience in Unitarian Universalism tells me that we're rarely in danger of underthinking our issues. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, UUs could probably debate for months about the kind of coffee we should serve, considering everything from how it was grown to where it was purchased, who profited from its sale, and whether we should serve coffee at all, because isn't caffeine bad for you? My advice to all of us, myself included, is not to let our minds distract us from the important work of love and doing good in this world. Let's not get trapped in over-analysis and minutiae. Life's too short, and we have vital work to do. In our partnership, I'd like to propose something else, if you'll allow me to set the tone. I suggest we strive for excellence, not perfection. Excellence inspires. Perfection suffocates. Because truly there is no perfection. And even when we try our best, we will fail at times. How many times have we heard the phrase, "We're only human"? I'm only human too. I promise you that no matter how hard I strive for excellence, I will say or do the wrong things at times. I will fail. But that's why we have cycles. The sun rises and the sun sets. There's always a new day to start afresh. I invite you to remind me and each other to focus more on the love and laughter and less on perfection. My hope is that we'll have the courage to try new things, to experiment, to allow ourselves to fail and then try something different, rather than insisting we do everything perfectly or merely in the familiar way. Just like improv, sometimes we have to make it up as we go and trust that it will turn out. Because that's what children do. When you watch toddlers learning to walk, you'll note they really have no problem falling down. It just happens. They don't judge it. It's simply part of the process. I invite us to do the same. Failure is just how we learn things. Just get up and try again. The work we hope to do can be so hard. So let's at least enjoy the journey as we aim to transform this world with justice and compassion. Are you game? Plus, an atmosphere that is safe for experimentation and exploration will make this an even more welcoming and attractive place. People are naturally drawn to joy and delight. One of the reasons I said a wholehearted yes to this call was because 93% of you indicated in your congregational survey that you were interested in growth. 93%. But to grow, we will need to be open to change, open to play, and open to experimentation. Are you willing to get into the sandbox with me? Are you willing to build some beautiful and messy sandcastles and then knock them down and start again and welcome new people in to come and play with us? I hope so. I'm your first settled minister with a young family. I've heard so many of you say that you want to attract more young families to this congregation, and we're delighted to model that. But that also means that I have obligations and commitments beyond this fellowship. So I invite us to be creative, compassionate, and consider balanced expectations so that this ministry can be sustainable over the long haul. To be most effective as your minister, I will need to be present with my family as well as with all of you. The two work hand in hand. Another part of my vision for our new day together emphasizes collaboration and remembering improv rule 2. We don't have to do things alone. If you're feeling overwhelmed or burnt out or under-supported with your fellowship work, it may be time to collaborate more or even step back a little. Sometimes we have to make space so that others can step in. I trust that if a program is meant to happen, there will be the energy to support it. Let's follow the energy within ourselves and in the congregation. We needn't force things to happen. This will help us be in line with our mission and the needs of this congregation. Trust in one another. Trust in the process and trust our community's trajectory. And if I may be so bold, I invite you to trust me. I want nothing but the highest good for this community, and I promise you, I will give you my very best. We are at the dawning of a new day, my friends, a new chapter for this congregation. We have many new leaders and staff who are all beginning their work serving this fellowship. We will need you all to be gentle, understanding, and forgiving of us as we all step into these new roles, right, Tom? Our request is for your compassion for our inevitable learning curve. We'll be striving for excellence, not perfection. Meanwhile, please share your stories, your ideas, and your insights with me. I'd love to know about your experiences here and what makes this place so special for you. My goal is to meet with as many of you as possible over the coming months, to get to know you and gain a deeper understanding of what your hopes and dreams are for this congregation and for transforming the world. But there's only one of me, so you may need to be patient. We have important work to do, my friends, in this world, especially at this pivotal time in our history. On this 15th anniversary of 9/11, it's particularly poignant. We need to be spiritually courageous, especially now that the hate-mongering and bigotry we're seeing on the national scene. I'm reluctant to co-opt the slogan of one of our political leaders, but we are indeed stronger together. One person, whether it's the board president, our administrator, or me, cannot and should not do this alone. Living our UU values and taking them out into the world is so much more possible in community. Together we can be a brave stand for justice and compassion. Together we can be a model for how to work collaboratively for the good of all. And that's what our universalist heritage reminds us. We cannot be truly happy and satisfied ourselves until everyone is cared for. Everyone has enough to eat. Everyone lives in peace, and everyone has a roof over their head. The Conejo Valley UU Fellowship can be leaders in kindness, in compassion, in generosity of spirit, in creativity, spiritual pluralism, and open-mindedness. Especially if we walk together, encouraging one another on this path. So will you join me in bringing more love, more dialogue, more sacredness, and more generosity to this community and beyond? We can do it together. That is the beauty of relationship. That is the beauty of an intentional community. We are so much more together than we are alone. The legendary silent film actress and Charlie Chaplin's collaborator, Mary Pickford, said, "Today is a new day. You will get out of it just what you put into it. If you've made mistakes, even serious mistakes, there's always another chance for you. And supposing you've tried and failed again and again, you may have a fresh start any moment you choose. For this thing that we call failure is not the falling down, but the staying down. It's not the falling down, but the staying down. Can we promise to extend our hands to one another when we fall, when we fail? To lift each other up and love each other back to laughter? After all, love is what redeems us. Love is what heals us. And love is what saves lives. My hope is that our future begins anew every day as we wake up. My hope is that what we envision, how we play and love together, helps create an inspiring new day for this congregation. My hope is that we thrive together and change the world for the better. It is an honor to begin this new day with you. May it be so. Amen. As we celebrate our coming together now for the new church year, we rejoice in this ingathering and simultaneously mourn the events of September 11th. I invite you to come forward for a ritual cleansing and an opportunity to greet the new day fresh. Hand-washing rituals are part of many spiritual traditions of Judaism, Shintoism, paganism, and others. We will use this moment to cleanse ourselves from anything that we want to leave behind as we begin this new chapter. We can take this opportunity to let go of pain and suffering, of negativity, of expectations that do not serve the greater good, and of sorrows that weigh heavy on our hearts. Allow this hand washing to cleanse you of whatever does not contribute to co-creating a bright new day. Allow the water to renew and refresh your spirit so that together we may invite a radiant new day. There are 3 stations, one here, one there, and one there. And I invite you to form 3 lines. Well, actually, probably 2 lines. This will be kind of a double line that will go both ways. And as you come up, and another line here, yeah. As you come up, place your hands above the bowl and allow the person before you to pour a little water over your hands. You can touch the water to your face, or you can just let it cleanse your hands. And then kindly turn to the person behind you and do the same for them. The person in front of you will hand the jug to you. And please say the following words to the person whose hands you are washing. May this water renew your spirit. May this water renew your spirit. And luckily you don't have to memorize it, because the wonderful Claudia made us little cards for on each table to remind us of what we get to say. So if you forget, it's right there. By cleansing one another in this way, we create a web of interdependence. And after you've washed your hands and offered the cleansing to the next person, the worship associate at each table will give you a towel to dry your hands. Now, we, the worship associates, and Greg will begin this and model it for you, and then I invite you to get into 3 lines and come forward. May this water renew your spirit.